Alrighty traders, George here, and time for a week in review. The big takeaway from the S&P this week was the continued bullish action in the market, and this is something that I had you guys focused on if you've been in the live room, been watching the videos I've been doing. What we had as a key price point at 2082 quarter was a catalyst for further movement up here, and as Friday's close hit 2095 and 3/4, we're just a point away from what I had as the third target. So some of you guys obviously getting flat there into the weekend on this big move up. Look left, we're at a key balance beam up here at the top, very near all this prior structure resistance. So a great follow through move there on it early with this price action over 2040s and then over the first target zone here of 2054 3/4. Just did a video on that the other day, and then here's the continuation basically all the way up to the third target zone. So great bullish action there in the S&P, and it was something that you knew about in advance where those key catalytic areas would prove themselves out, and pretty classic price action really. Now let's go to some more complicated markets here. Let's look at gold. So the takeaway from gold is we were looking for a continued move up here, but on a break lower, this is where I told you guys to watch for a much bigger sell-off, and that's exactly what happened. And you can see that we came all the way back down to this low 1190 zone. This is the floor of this key balance beam here. This is where there is a lot of trading commitment, and just below it there's not as much. So if price breaks below it, it can really pop down pretty quickly. As this balance beam goes, it's relatively tall, 1190s up to about 1210s here. So breaking below this ceiling up here pretty much puts us right to the floor. So the bad news is that the gold bulls let this happen instead of stopping it sooner and continuing up. So good news is that they're able to bounce at 1190. Bad news is they gave up quite a bit and some very key territory in doing so. The other aspect is as a corrective impulse goes, because this was, if you look here, this is a new structure low. Off of this low here, we made a new structure high, and then here's a new structure low. So this is a real negative turn here for gold, and if we're going to do a correction, the cleaner exchange would be that we just continue to move on up. Well, that didn't happen. We got this big sell-off here, and that started to put price sideways, and that's not a luxury that gold can really afford. So that's a bit of a warning that this structure is starting to move sideways. Ultimately, it's really all about the orange rectangle here, as I mentioned pretty much every day in the room. What are your plans when price does X? Ultimately, gold's got to be trading over 1210 to move up. So this is a real key inflection point here because there's so much trading commitment. If a lot of shorts start to stack up here and price starts to pop up, it could really get through these zones in a hurry, and that could start some short covering and then a new round of longs coming in as well. And likewise, we break below 1190s here, this thing could easily retest the 1140s here, if not make new lows altogether. So this is a very key balance beam, no pun intended. That's why I call these things the balance beams. This part here is a little bit disconcerting that we're not making a clean move up. However, there is some harmonic relevance to the price action here because this impulse that we didn't know would be sealed at the time is now sealed, and off of this swing low, a 1-to-1 harmonic of that move takes us right up to this second target zone. So that's actually giving a little bit more weight to this target here. I want to respect that spike, but also where this arrow comes in. For the 1-to-1 up here, that one could actually come up a bit now. That's what's happened with gold this week. Here's oil, and I'm on a 180-minute chart going back 120 days on the balance beam. If you look at what's happened here, there's a lot of trading commitment here, and above and below things start to drop off. We're at 51.77s right now, so we're just taking over the 51 area here. We broke below a few times and traded below a few times, but we recovered above. Obviously a bullish impulse here, incredibly sharp pullback here, but a real strong rally to new highs, and then this pullback here, essentially they're trying to put in support where we had resistance for this breakout. So with essentially the round number 51 holding as support, that gives, as I like to say, gives the bulls license to go up and retrace where they've been. This is one market I'm going to pull out to a daily chart now to show you a bigger picture. And this will really clarify what's up with oil. So this runaway sell move, very directional, Now it's going sideways. This is the balance beam for this area here, and there's essentially about a 51.50 top line here and about a 47.50 bottom line there. At 51.64, we're just knocking on the door here to get above this level. This is what could propagate a much bigger move up in oil. Is price basically just staying over 51 long enough for the shorts to get impatient and new longs to come in. And if you look to the left, there's another little spike right about here, and then things really open up in a big way. An air pocket. There's not as much trading commitment there, and that can help price move up quite a bit. So the takeaway from the week is that oil has continued to show volatility, but it's inching its way towards the top of this balance beam here. Initially, a move up to about 55 is something to look for, but a continuation over that level, and then we're moving up to the upper 60s here. Bouncing up and down at these new structure lows here. If we look at the swing high here and the swing low there as a unit of 1, and we project up, let's see where that takes us. And look left. That takes us right to that balance beam spike that I just highlighted. That's a 1-to-1 harmonic move that puts us up to 66.40 or so. So 51 is the key fulcrum here. Right now we've got to give it to the bulls, keeping that as support. We'll watch for any breaks below that, obviously. For right now, that's the big takeaway. Watch Monday morning's video for a look at the week ahead. I'll come up with some more scenarios and maybe some different markets based on the Sunday evening price action. Use the link at the bottom of this video so you can hop in the live room. You can see me day trade live and also come up with some bigger picture trade scenarios live. Had a pretty good week this last week and had a great last month. Every 3-day session in the live room has been profitable, ongoing, although we did see a little bit of range compression early in the mornings this last week. So we'll be on top of that starting Tuesday in the live room, and we'll see you all there. That'll do it for now.